Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is an entrepreneur. Her name is Bushra Ahsan, and she is our woman in focus today. Bushra, you're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Sushma. How are you?
What a lovely outfit.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the work that is done on it, is it Indian, is it Pakistani, is it Canadian?
It's actually a Western designer, but the hand embroidery, I'm sure they got it done somewhere from India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan.
Yes.
But when I saw it, I'm like, okay, it's very close to our culture, and I have to wear this.
Beautiful,
yeah.
lovely.
You.
Now, are you in the fashion industry?
No, but I love fashion for myself.
Very nice. Now, I introduced you as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur. Tell us something about yourself.
I think I would like to call myself more than a businesswoman. I am a lifelong learner. I'm an explorer. I like to hop on things and passion, anything that drives my passion.
Right.
So I think I would like to change the businesswoman entrepreneur to somebody who just follows passion, and that's why I've hopped on from project to project, industry to industry, because I want to learn and I want to apply myself and fail and learn and do different things.
So when you say hop from passion to passion, so when you're hopping from one passion to the second one, what happens to the first passion?
I only hop when it's done. It's in a self-sustaining model. I have the right people watching over it, and I say to myself, there's no more learning for me to do. Where else can I apply myself? And I hop on something new.
So give me an example.
For example, I gave a decade of my life to my transportation company. During the whole decade, and I was a rookie, I was very new, I was very young, I was almost a child, and I had a lot of pitfalls, and after failing and really mastering that took 10 years of my life. And I expanded that into Canada and now in US. I said to myself, I think I've learned the max that I could. What else is there for me?
Except for driving the truck.
Right, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? If I keep myself here, there's no growth happening. And in order to grow, I need to challenge myself. I need to see where else I can do. I've done transportation. It's great, it pays my bills. But now I have the luxury, and God has given me this privilege to now go fail somewhere, because I can afford to go fail somewhere else. And it's okay if I fail, because my bills are being paid, and not a lot of people have this luxury.
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
But it's great the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
I can go somewhere else and fail, and then succeed.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail.
So when you were finishing your passion with transportation, how did the next passion come about?
I think by then I had met enough people, and I was in enough organizations and associations in the community where I had the networking and conversations were taking place, and people were noticing me, and I was getting these different offers, and I was just going to take my pick. And it did happen that I went and joined a trade mission. And from that, I was exposed to so many different avenues, and I ended up choosing 2 new ones, and I'm working on those right now.
And what are they?
So the first one, it's very near and dear to my heart. It's a Kartarpur pilgrim, sort of company.
Yes.
I will be taking yatris from North America to Pakistan, and I'm providing VIP and deluxe packages for them to go there.
And for the people who don't know what Kartarpur, majority of the Sikhs do know what that is, but those who don't know, can you explain that?
It's a sacred religious site for Sikh pilgrims. So basically, it's I'm a Muslim, so we say our Makkah and Medina is in Saudi Arabia. So for Sikh, it holds the same value.
Yes.
The Kartarpur, Nankana Sahib, Panja Sahib. So all these different places are in the itinerary, and I'm gonna take it to Buddhist tourism next year, because we have a lot in Pakistan. We have a lot of Buddhist sites as well. So I'm going to add layers and layers and
so
layers.
You're getting into the travel industry then?
I'm getting into I would say a niche market of the travel industry. At this point, religious tourism.
I'll go ahead, finish it.
Whether it's Sikh at the moment, and then Buddhist next. There's another thing that I would like to work on is cultural immersion camps. So literally all of the cultural and religious Sikh sites are in Pakistan, not in India.
Yes.
So I want to expand that in a couple of years, where we take young children, like 18, 19, those people, for summer camps, where they go and spend 2 weeks in Pakistan and immersed into religious and cultural camps sort of thing.
Now, many people would think, that because people have come out of India and Pakistan, and the coming out of those two countries was all very traumatic for many people, that these two are different warring fractions. How safe would it be for people to go?
If I can answer in one word, extremely. It's extremely safe. I've made sure of that. Working directly with the Interior Ministry, working directly with directly with these bodies who provide the safety, and having a private safety security company as well.
Right.
So I've made sure all the layers are secured for safety reasons, and that's why what I'm providing has value and is different from anybody else who will come in the market, because I'm working directly with the government, because I'm working directly with the consulate, because I'm working directly with the trade mission. I do have that, you can say, competitive edge over anybody else other than myself.
Yes, and that is important.
Very important.
Because when you are passionate about something, you can relay that to others.
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah. I want to take you back to your childhood and find out, where does this drive come from? But let's take a very short commercial break and come back and concentrate on the growing years of this amazing woman who wants to do so many different
things.
Conquer the world. Yes, conquer the world.
Yes.
We are talking to Bushra Ahsan. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Bushra Ahsan is our Woman in Focus today. We were talking about you conquering the world. I think that's not impossible.
No.
It can be done.
Anything.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
So let's talk about, where were you born?
Lahore, Pakistan.
Wow.
Yeah.
People say that we haven't been to Lahore, you haven't lived.
It's like, "Jinne Lahore nahi vekhya, wo jamya nahi." It's a Punjabi saying, and it's so true.
It is.
It's so true. It's a city, it has its own vibe.
It does.
It's I was 13 when we moved to Canada. I've literally spent most of my life here, and I love Canada. Canada is home. My peace is in Canada, but there's something there. There's something there that keeps calling my name. I keep wanting to go back. And
Right.
It'll always be a home.
Yes.
And I have Lahore in my blood. There's no doubt about that.
So growing up in Lahore, I mean, when I went to Lahore, it was in the 80s, 90s, early 90s. Beautiful place, because my father's ancestry is in Pakistan.
Okay.
And so that part of Punjab is close to our heart as well. So when you were a young kid, tell me about your family. Rich family, middle class family, ultra rich who want...
No. We are 4 sisters and 1 brother.
Oh, wow.
So, and then we had a lot of girl cousins. So I grew up a lot around, and my mother was 6 sisters. So we grew up a lot of women. And a lot of women. And I was always a leader of the pack. I was always like, everybody was like...
Oldest in the family?
I was actually second older, but still, in my family today too, like I am considered the oldest. Like my parents consult me over things that, they don't consult my older sister. I hate to say that, but it's just, I think, from a very young age, I wanted to do everything, lead everything. I wanted to be in sports. I wanted to be in debate. I wanted to be in, I was a top student, and I just wanted to achieve the world if I could. And but it was only in my 30s when I realized who is Bushra, is when I realized what my potential could be. I could ask for anything, and if I put my mind to it, I should be able to get it. So all those years was me finding myself. It was only a few years ago when I actually did find myself.
And what was the catalyst? There was a moment that you thought, hey.
It was just the aging part and just the learning.
So?
And I met somebody in my life, and I just realized, and I think that person introduced me to me. And it was more like a mirror, as to come see, this is who you are. And I started applying my best, and I started giving my best. And I realized that, wow, like this is who I am. I mean, not in a good and bad way. I mean, I saw a lot of things that I didn't know I need to work on.
Yes.
But yeah, I think 30s changed it. I think anything before you do 30s is you're training towards your life. Your life begins at 30s, because that's when you actually find out who you are as a person. And I strongly believe people who are actually getting married in their 30s are doing the right thing.
They are?
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe that 28 is the right time to start thinking about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you are kind of there now, close to 30, so yeah, you could do that. you could still have that, time to be.
I'm going through the astrological charts.
Oh, right, okay. But I feel like, yeah.
You're right to a certain extent, because your Saturn return comes at that time.
Oh,
and
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's what changes you for the next 28 years. And then Saturn comes back in your life again at the age of 56, 58.
Okay.
And then it changes you again. Having said that, so you guys came, oh bless you. That was a good one. You came here when you were 13, you said. So why did your parents think of coming to Canada?
Well, my father is an engineer by profession, and at that time he realized, he's a large family, and it's better if we were to move, because we weren't necessarily middle class or upper class, but we were upper middle class. And he said that he came from a village background where he literally. People who actually go under streetlight and actually, study.
Wow,
and he's one of those stories, and he was a successful story. And he did that all on his own, very self-made man. And he decided that, in order to give that environment to his 5 kids, he's going to make that, to
happen.
Make that migration happen and come explore this country, because he felt like he couldn't do that in Pakistan. It was too many of us, and he felt like there were better opportunities here. And we're all so glad that he did think that at that time.
So are the parents ultra modern, or would you call them very traditional?
They're not, I won't call them ultra modern, but they are very progressive, yet cultural. So we do follow religion in our household. I mean, there's a concept of namaz, and roza is what we call. But they're definitely very progressive, where they think that, the women can go and achieve anything. And there were 4 sisters. And my mother is very, socialist, sort of butterfly almost, and very busy woman. She loves her, social life and stuff. So we always saw that. So very progressive, but
very forward thinking.
Yes, very forward thinking. Yet very close to culture as well at the same time.
And so you finished your education, and was it expected of you the minute you finish your education, maybe quick काम ढूंढ लो, work somewhere, and then get married?
I actually started working when I was 16 because I needed money to, buy me things
for all your other
for
adventures.
My personal expense. And I'm one of those people who didn't like asking parents, because I knew they were struggling as new immigrants. So I went and found myself a job. I was the first one in my house to find a job, and I'm like, okay, I got this. Don't worry about me. I actually, I finished my high school. I got married at 18.
Wow.
And that came as a shock to me, because my father was very progressive and stuff. And then at that time, he just said that he likes this boy, and it was a family friend, and I knew them, and I said yes, and whatever you want. So I did my education in bits and pieces while I was having kid, while I was working, while I was still married, but while I was doing all this, I went and finished my education. It took me 8 years though, because I had kids between that time, during that time. So it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey.
How many kids?
I have 3 kids.
Beautiful.
3 beautiful kids.
And
yes.
what are they?
I have a girl, and then a boy and a girl.
So carrying on with the tradition.
Yeah. And then and then during that time, when I realized, I'm having kids, but I need to pay bills, so what can I do? That's how I got into the freight business. I've talked a lot about that in my interview, so I don't want to talk about how I got into it.
No, that's right.
But this is and the page started turning. I started meeting people. The real Bushra started coming out.
Right.
When I started meeting and seeing who the real Bushra is, and during that time I met with myself, and I said, you know what, I need to go for. I can literally
do whatever I want.
Anything I want.
Yeah.
I can honestly, if I say I want to be next Prime Minister of Canada, or next Prime Minister in Pakistan, I feel like, and I put my heart and soul and mind to it, I can do it.
I think you can do it. I think there's nothing that can stop you, because you are a rock star.
Oh, thank you.
I want to take a short commercial break and come back and talk to you about the other passions that are going to be coming up. You mentioned prime ministers, presidents, so that could be something that you could keep in mind.
Sure. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Bushra is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Bushra Ahsan is our Woman in Focus today. So Bushra, you talked about all your passions, and the one that I picked up was politics.
Yes.
Now, you have joined the Trade Commission and you're working with Pakistan government and Canadian.
Yes.
Do you see yourself getting into politics here?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. That's the reason perhaps why I took this on, the trade mission, because it was going to give me the exposure, it was going to give me the learning.
Right.
But when I started doing it, I realized, oh my God, I can keep on doing this and learn so much before I jump on. So I kind of put the political thing on hold. But I do see myself provincially entering the political, playground. Yes, for sure.
But right now your main focus is to do the Kartarpur.
It's Kartarpur, and I'm also, because of the trade, working on this great project to financially empower women in Pakistan. So all the way women in interior Sindh or interior Balochistan and interior Punjab who do hand embroidery, in home, and they have like no electricity, no water. We're talking about those women who are making these textile items or clothing items.
Right.
So all the way, and that product reaches Pakistan to more upscale business women, and then it reaches other countries. So I'm working on a project. Inshallah, to bring all of this together, to get them the funding and get them the market of North American market. So that's something that's again a passion project. It's a non-profit project.
Right.
That's something I'm gonna work on for sure.
So philanthropy is quite close to your heart.
It's been always very close to my heart, but I think now is the time where I actually go right into it.
And how old are the kids now?
My daughter is almost 14.
Wow.
I know.
Yes.
And my son is 10 and a little one is 6.
So they know mom is busy with this, so we are going to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, and I do try to be home as much as I can. Right now the school is off, so I think my guilt is higher because they're home and I have to be, at work.
Yes.
Otherwise, when they're school, I feel better because I'm home at 3 and we kind of do the whole day together.
Yes.
But I think my passions aside, my biggest pleasure, if you want to call it, is with the kids.
Yes.
I feel like my comfort, my peace is there when I'm around them. Yeah.
And of course, whatever you are doing, influencing them as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially my girls and the boy.
Yeah.
I want him to see that, a woman, and hopefully he marries somebody super strong, that a woman can lead the household.
Right.
A woman can do everything outside and still be a mom and a housewife or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
A woman can do all that, and then she could be a good wife and a good mom and still, lead the world.
You also have a very supporting husband, I guess.
Oh God, most supporting. I feel like I tell him it wasn't for you, it weren't for you. And not, being nitpicky and telling me don't do this, I'm not comfortable with this. Being this secure.
He is secure in his own self.
So secure, and he's completely secure about me calling the shots. He's always been secure about telling me she's the boss. I mean, how many men would actually go ahead and do that?
Very secure men. Only the secure men. Yes.
So I actually say he's probably the man behind all of my success. If there's one man in his own ways, it's him, because I didn't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm going to go home, there's going to be an argument or something like that. No, I went home and there was fine. I mean, he was fine with kids. There were smiles, and we had dinner together, and everything was fine. So 100%. Yeah.
Let's come back to the Kartarpur issue. So if people wanted more information on that, have you already started a company that is going to start doing that, and when will be your first project?
I've started the company, yes. I will give you a poster if you like, that we can run it on the show. The first project, so there's Guru Nanak's birthday on, in November.
Yes.
So we are taking our first sort of Yatri group.
Wow.
In the first 10 days of November.
Wow.
And we still in the deadline where people can still sign up. But then the big groups are going to be twice a year and all year round. You can contact us, but the big groups are going to be at the birthday, Guru Nanak's birthday, which is November, and then Vaisakhi, which is kind of changing every year, but March.
So November seems like a time when the weather is going to be also okay, both ways, right?
Absolutely.
April, I guess it starts getting hot, but people can, people who've been sitting here and feeling cold would love to go there.
I think the elders won't mind.
Yes.
And other than being at the Kartarpur, which is air conditioned per se, our transportation to 5-star hotels, everything is very, very comfortable.
Right.
I mean, we have medical facilities, to everything you name it, everything is covered. I do want to say, because I work with the mission and a consulate, the visa service is included as well, and that's a big one for our folks.
It is. It is a big one. So they won't have to worry about that.
No.
Visas will be supplied and
Yes.
and all that would be done. I think you know, if I could use a word, sawab,
Yeah.
you're doing sawab ka kaam. You
Shukriya.
know, it's really a beautiful thing for any pilgrim to be able to go and visit and do their pilgrimage.
Bilkul.
And someone supplies everything for them is the most important.
Thank you so
job.
much. Thank you so much. I do think of this as we call it kari khair, means khair ka kaam. I do feel like that sometimes then God puts barakah in it, barakat in it, blessing in it, and I do 100% agree that this is more than just getting money out of something, because there's so many
Right.
other ways to make money. I always say
100%.
if it's not like, if it doesn't drive me for so many other reasons than making money, I would not do it at this point. Because in the beginning I told you that my bills are being paid.
Yes.
So that tension is not there. I mean,
No.
transportation is fine, but I have to get more out of my projects now.
So during COVID time, how was the transportation business? Was it thriving, or was it? Were you hit as well?
So during COVID time is when we designed it. So I took this time to put everything together. So there was a lot of work that had to be done from Pakistan
Right.
to get all the the security matters sorted out, to get all the right I would say partnerships come on ground.
Right.
So to set that entire foundation took a lot of time, and now it's a time that I just market. And I just market, and people from word of mouth will just sell. But what's under the iceberg is what took a lot of time. And then I went to Pakistan. I stayed there. I met a lot of folks in the government, and the people who are now in my partners on the ground in Pakistan are actually currently working for the government directly, like at the highest office. So that everything is well sorted and covered.
You're not worried about government changing hands and all
No,
that?
because I'm working with bureaucracy, not government. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Smart woman.
Thank you.
You and I could talk for hours till the cows come home, but our time is up.
Time's up.
But I thank you for at least coming to our program, and we will have many more opportunities to talk to you.
Thank you, Sushma. And I want to thank you for actually doing this for women. Like you said in the beginning when we were having this candid conversation, that no one tells our story.
Yes.
And thank you for hearing my story.
I love that.
Thank you.
Bushra Ahsan has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.